faces, lips all over faces. Love is a game of force. I'm replacing every feeling wasted with a set of broken rules.
How you gonna be with him and be lonely all the time? How you gonna make him care if he doesn't even try?
Does a boy touch you better than you touch yourself? When you close your eyes and you think of someone else, if he leaves you broken, insecure, wondering what you did to deserve being left up on the shelf, don't let him mess with your mental health. Don't let him get in your head tonight. Don't let him mess with your mental health. Don't let him get in your bed tonight. Don't let him mess with your mental health. Wide open spaces, living for the chases. Never let him take my cool. I'll write you a place and then I'll erase it if you try to make the rules.
How you gonna be with her and be lonely all the time? How you gonna make her care when she only makes you cry?
Does a girl touch you better than you touch yourself? When you close your eyes and you think of someone else, if she leaves you broken, insecure, wondering what you did to deserve being left up on the shelf, don't let her mess with your mental health. Don't let him get in your head tonight. Don't let him mess with your mental health. Don't let him get in your bed tonight. Don't let him mess with your mental health. Do they touch you better than you touch yourself? Do they touch you better than you touch yourself? Do they touch you better than you touch yourself? Do they touch you better, better? Do they touch you better, better? Don't let him get in your head tonight. Don't let him mess with your mental health. Don't let him get in your bed tonight. Don't let him mess with your mental health. Don't let him get in your head tonight. Don't let him mess with your mental health. Don't let him get in your bed tonight. Don't let him mess with your mental health.
Hello and welcome to Totally Tell Me, a weekly entertainment review podcast where we talk about movies, music, food, and fun. My name's Dominic Mercurio, and I'm here with, let's see, how can I do this? Laura Weinbach. Laura Weinbach.
I don't know if I'm to your left for everyone else, but thank you. Hi, how are you? Welcome. What's up?
What's up? How's it going?
Days. Pretty
Days?
I mean, it's okay. There's about a lot of smoke in the air, but it's all right. It's all right. You know, I'm all right up in this piece.
Coming to us from...
What's up with you? How are you?
Coming to us from Los Angeles. Can you hear me okay? Is there a delay or something?
Truth. I think probably there is, because as far as I can see, I'm glitching out on my end. So.
Okay.
Must be something on your end.
And we are also here with our special guest, Dylan Gallagher of the band Werewolf.
Hello.
Hi, Dylan.
Hi. How's it going?
How's it going?
Good. Sorry, I'm chewing my black licorice.
Yuck.
Whatever. Grow up.
I hate black licorice.
Go to grip.
But I love red licorice.
Well, I hate guinea pigs.
Oh.
Well, fuck
well,
you.
You can't see the guinea pigs right now. She's just not at home.
Because
Right,
exactly.
yeah.
I am at home. I'm more at home than ever because I'm in my home in LA where I grew up.
Well, we're all back to ground zero.
You both are where?
So for
You're at your boyfriend's house?
Me?
Dylan?
Well,
Oh, no, I'm at my friend Scott and Leah's house. There's like them in the background kissing each other.
Oh,
Wait, I
I
think
thought
we-
those were just the pictures that came with the frames.
These are my boyfriend.
Um,
okay.
So-
I think
exactly.
we're getting some crazy lag.
Yeah.
It seems like something.
uh-oh.
Sorry,
Oops.
guys. I think it says my internet connection is unstable. So something may happen. Something may
that can
not
happen.
happen. But we're just gonna power through it and see what happens. But if you're here for the first time, which hopefully many of you are, we are Totally Tell Me. We started as a podcast. We did 100 episodes as a podcast. You could still call this a podcast of sorts, but we're kind of evolving now into our second form, which is going to be a live streaming show. So we are currently live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So you can follow us on whichever one that you enjoy watching people the most. And we will be a bi-weekly show. So every 2 Sundays, starting from here on out, we're going to be reviewing various films, sometimes new, sometimes old, classics, non-classics, whatever really we feel like watching. And it'll always be me and Laura, plus a special guest. Obviously, today's special guest is Dylan, which we're very excited about. The song that you heard in the beginning is Mental Health by his band, also Werewolf. And also, now that we're starting this kind of live version of this show, we want you guys to interact with us. Feel free to comment, and we'll kind of loop you in at various points throughout the show. This week's movie that we're going to be reviewing is I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Charlie Kauffman. We're going to get to that in the second half of the episode. This first half, we'll just kind of be talking about a bunch of other stuff. But when we get to it, if you haven't seen the film, feel free to keep on watching. We won't talk any spoilers. And then after a certain point, we will get into spoilers, but we'll make it very clear for all you guys. So yeah, if you have seen the film too, we would love to hear your thoughts on the film, and we'll be reading your thoughts and discussing them as well.
I'll be reading your thoughts too.
Yes, Laura is actually a mind
I can
reader,
do
so
that.
she is able to do that. So, I mean, honestly, without further ado, let's just get into it. Not the film, of course, but just how we are. I mean, Dylan, you're the guest of the evening, guest of honor.
Guest of honor.
You have some people behind you that. Do you care to explain what the hell is going on here, or?
Yeah. So I'm at my friend Scott and Leah's house. I was originally going to record at my own house on the microphone that I went out of my way to pick up today from my apartment in Berkeley. I've been quarantining with my parents in Danville. Oops, maybe I should mention that. Whatever.
Why not?
And I don't know, because all the rabid fans. But
Your fans are gonna be like, "Ew, you're with your parents in Danville.
Hello,
Get the fuck away from me."
Faggot. I picked up Berkeley, and then I came to visit my friends Scott and Leah today, and I was at their house and I was drinking a margarita. And
Oh, shit,
I
forgot about
looked.
the drink.
What a loser! This is my third, and I looked down
This is my drink.
that direction, and I just what?
Yes, I'm drinking tea and
Oh
doing a
my God,
podcast.
what a
What the
dork.
fuck else am I gonna do?
Classic.
I looked
Excuse me,
down.
but tea
on
is
their
like
floor.
the best thing.
They just had this microphone sitting on the floor, so I was like, well, can I just record here? So I'm just recording at their house. Scott is right there playing in the living room on his computer. Leah's in her bedroom. I'm just using their house.
Oh, great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Dylan, so I actually asked all of us to write a few little topics in this little thing that I'm looking at right now. The first thing that I see on yours, which is pretty, it really just strikes me as something. It reads, Portrait of a Thick Bitch on Fire.
That's correct. So,
Okay. All right, fair enough. Please elaborate.
no, just kidding. So the purpose of that message was I have actually recently, against all odds during quarantine, wrangled a boyfriend. And
Yes, tell us about the BFF.
I will. So one of the probably like one of the biggest, most momentous occasions that has happened with my boyfriend is that recently I was walking through my apartment and I was like, I don't think I was wearing pants. And he just like looked at me and he
What about
goes,
underpants? Was there underpants?
Were you
involved?
wearing
There-
just a
I
shirt
was
and
wearing-
socks?
I was wearing underwear.
Oh, okay.
Oh, damn it. That fucked my whole vision up.
I'm not a whore.
I really wanted you to not be wearing underwear.
Just
No, I was wearing
Only socks, gloves, and a shirt.
only a shirt, no bottoms, like
Just-
Winnie the Pooh.
No bottoms. Just a shirt with gloves.
Winnie
and
the
socks.
Pooh wandering through my own apartment like, oh, mother.
maybe like a turtle, maybe a shirt with a turtle.
It's like, where's my... I need to find my wrinkled boyfriend. Where...
Oh, I love a smackful of honey. I'm walking through my apartment and I'm just wearing a shirt and underwear. And my boyfriend just goes, you're thick.
He said what? He said, you're sick?
He said, you're thick.
Oh, you're thick.
And I was like,
That is so fucked up.
thanks, I guess.
Does he know what you've gone through to achieve your good physique?
No, and he might be watching now, so don't tell him. But
Sorry, I
like-
didn't even say that.
in my head, I'm like, as somebody who always wanted nothing more than to look like Danny Phantom, that's not what I wanted to hear, but thanks. I guess to you, that's a good thing. So
Danny
I'll take it.
Phantom being the skinniest, tallest little twink there ever was.
Yeah.
Okay. all right.
With his like little like white, perfectly straight, like flipped up hair.
Look,
Right.
Dylan,
Skinny.
I've always seen you in that light and in that way, and I do to
Oh,
this
thank
day. And I
you.
can see that your pompadour is just every inch you. And
Don't
you know,
patronize me. It
refl-
looks like
it-
shit. We
no,
all look
I
like
love
shit.
it. I love it. I love
You
it.
look like shit, Dominic. You look like shit. Who's great?
Call him what it is.
Whatever.
It's a
You
twink.
said I looked like Karen O like 10 minutes before the show, so I'll take that.
Oh, was it
Just
Karen O?
run with it.
I'm dead.
Yeah, that- I misheard the Karen O bit, but yes, I actually do see it now. Now I really
Mhm.
understand what you were saying. In our
It's just the angle.
so okay,
It's just some.
that's very interesting, Dylan, because
I feel like my video's all fucked up, and I'm not getting any kind of like. It's just
think-
not like communicating my expression and my deep feeling for appreciation.
You are very
You guys.
lagged, but it's
Really
okay.
fucked up.
yeah, I think there's some lag because you seem to be like answering stuff a little bit delayed, but it's fine.
Damn it! Fuck.
Regardless, it's funny that you say that, Dylan, because I thought that maybe you had actually seen Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Have you not actually seen that movie?
No, I want to. I was actually,
Okay.
ironically, I was with my boyfriend like a month ago and we were looking for movies to watch and we were like, I was like, oh, I've heard this movie is really good. But of course, when you're describing it, it's like,
It
it's a
sounds-
tough sell. You're like, it's
so good.
like a
actually.
2-hour and 15-minute long. It's the length of an Avengers movie. It's French and it's a romance. How fun. He was like,
I love romance.
Yeah.
he's like, maybe another time.
It's so good.
Well,
That
if-
was like one of my favorite movies of the year. To be
Oh
honest.
yeah, it's.
Oh,
Actually
should we
still-
save
It's
it for
supposed to
later?
be really good. I want
I
to
thought
see
it
it
was
very
quite
badly.
good.
Yeah.
I expected to hate it, to be honest, just
You
based
expected
on
to
the
hate it, really?
the poster. Well, I just thought it looked really boring.
Really? Oh,
Kind of,
man.
even though I normally would like. No, it's not. It's not
It's-
because of like the aesthetic or anything like that. I just felt like something about either the trailer or the poster it made me think that it was going to be really pretentious and slow or something like that, but it was actually really, really good.
I would
I thought
say
it
it's
was
both of those things, but I feel like
No.
I feel like pretentious is.
But
not a
that
bad
is
word.
that's a good thing to you.
You-
Can't wait
I
to
know,
talk
that is a
about
good
this
thing to you.
movie.
I
feel
don't think
like-
pretentious is good.
Well, I feel like it has a negative meaning and then it has a positive meaning, and to me, I feel like
I'm like, I don't think it's a good thing. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's not a good thing.
Well, I feel like it can also insinuate that you are just making something with, all of your effort and all of your heart. I feel like a pretentious thing.
No, I
No.
disagree.
That's not what
I
that
disagree, but fine.
Same.
It's fine. Nikki Weinbach
Oh,
says,
Dylan, I think you
"Hello."
and I are going to end up on a team tonight.
I think we might.
based on your text from yesterday, which I got like in the middle of the night. And
Oh.
I
Don't
was
tell
like,
Dominic. He's
I'm
gonna
like,
get
I'm not
angry
gonna
at me.
No, I didn't
Dylan
respond.
loves to break
I
the
just
rules. He loves
internalized.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself. This movie was the length of an Avengers movie. I was
Okay,
so
wait, we're not talking
bored.
about it. We're not
Let's
talking about it
talk
yet.
about the
Okay.
movie yet, but I will say that usually for people who have never watched this show before, we do not talk about the movie beforehand.
Oh my
But
God.
Dylan
I
made
look
it
like
so clear
Satan.
that he wanted to talk about this movie to me. He was like texting me some hints.
Dude, I am like-
Obviously, he texted more behind the scenes.
I even texted your boyfriend behind your back, and I was like, "Did he make you watch this?"
Oh, I know he did.
Oh.
Anyways, we will get to it.
He told you, Josh. Josh, are you there? Get over here.
He actually is.
We need to talk.
He's over here next to me, but he's probably.
Josh, get into the camera frame. We need to have the discussion. Now.
I'm sure he'll poke in soon. but
Jo-
he's-
wait, what's that movie called? Kevin, we need to talk.
We need to
We
talk
need to
about
talk about
Josh.
Kevin.
We need to talk about Josh.
Josh. It's fine. I just want to have a conversation.
Well, anyways, speaking of conversation.
Oh
let's
my
move-
God, my freaking lag is so annoying. Sorry,
Laura,
guys.
you were lagged hardcore. You're like cutting people off over.
Why does
you.
this suck?
don't
Okay,
know.
maybe I'm. Well, it's weird because I'm hearing your responses to what I'm saying right away.
Well, that is bizarre.
Well,
turn of
Okay.
events.
I'm hearing you right away. I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what? I'm gonna leave and come back. How about that?
No.
No, you're
Why not?
fine.
It's so easy. Is it not?
I'm hearing you right away. Why would you
Okay,
leave?
fine.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I thought maybe it would make the connection better, but maybe not. Okay, fine. I'll just stay.
No, no, of course. Where we are.
Okay.
So, Laura.
Yeah.
Laura Weinbaum. How have you been?
Yes, sir. I've been pretty decent, actually. Not, I mean, all things considered.
Yeah, right.
I've been having some fun. I went camping last week, which was really amazing. I went to this place called Los Olivos, which is like an hour east of Santa Barbara. And Anton, who didn't really want to go as usual, did end up coming and ended up being pleased about coming because we saw some crazy ass stuff on the way there, such as 3 tarantulas in the middle of the road while we were driving, which we were able to see from 50 feet away, at least in the car. They were in the middle of the road.
Well, you were driving.
Basically, we were
How
we
fast?
on the so basically you have to drive on this once you turn off of the 101 or the 1 that goes along the California coast, you have to go inland on this crazy really narrow road that looks basically like someone's driveway in the middle of the country, and it's actually really cool. And the whole landscape is just all yellow, bright yellow kind of dry grass and these really haunted looking gnarled oak trees. And when I first saw it, I thought this is my kind of landscape that I would be really pleased to camp in. And then all of a sudden we start seeing just all these fucking tarantulas
Oh my God, Dylan,
going
it
in
looks
the
like
middle
you're
of the
eating a leg
road.
a tarantula right now.
But
might be.
it was, I mean, they looked like, in the movies, tarantulas, the size of the kinds that are in, bad horror movies and stuff. I mean, it was crazy.
So did you
And
screech to a halt or something, or what?
Well, we decided to stop and we looked out, I just pulled up and I looked and it was sure enough, a full size. I mean, there were 3, we saw 3 on the way there. And then when we left the campsite, we saw another 3 tarantulas. I guess they must have been migrating, but of course I was freaking out thinking oh my God, are there going to be tarantulas where we're camping? But thankfully, I don't know why, but I mean, they just weren't where we were camping.
All right, look.
But yeah, we saw a bobcat and we saw other amazing animals on the way out. It was really cool. But yeah, how are you? I don't
Sorry.
know. I have What?
Laura, I think that you probably let's try having you leave and come back because you are pretty delayed and we're getting
Yeah.
1 frame every second at this point. It
Okay,
seems to
yeah.
be getting worse. So let's just have
Okay.
you leave and come
I
right
will.
back.
Doing
We'll
it.
hold down
Doing
the
it.
fort.
Yeah, hold
while
down
you
the
leave.
fort. I'll come right back.
We
Bye.
can chat.
We can chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, let's check in.
What do you really think of Laura?
It's gonna look really bizarre, by the way, audience. I have set up Zoom so that it captures a couple screens. So right now, Dylan, you're just You're a mere set of eyeballs in the corner. But anyways,
Wow.
disregard that. Let's check in with the audience really quick. Nikki says, Laura, you should leave and
Strange.
come back. She is, don't you worry. Aaliyah says, are we talking about the movie yet? Because I have some opinions. Aaliyah, we are not talking about the movie yet, but I'm sure that a lot of people have a lot of opinions in this little circle, and we are very excited to share those. We'll probably get to it in about 20 minutes or so, I'd say.
Aaliyah, I'm dying to share my opinions with you. Dying.
Dylan is dying to share his opinion. Oh, I think Laura is trying to rejoin, so hold on. We're going to bring her back in
Okay.
just in a second here. She says major opinions. She follows up with major opinions.
I've come back as the night sky.
Oh,
How are you?
Okay.
Oh,
Cool.
oh my god. Oh,
And now I'm
she emerges
only a
from the
ghost of what I
darkness.
used to be. Slowly emerging.
Let's see if you emerge in a better frame rate. How about that?
I'm like the minion of Donald Trump. This is like the vision of me right now is what I imagined was like in control of the Bay Area 3 days ago when I left it, when it was like all red and just like looked like it was being,
Honestly,
attacked by Donald Trump in the dark sky.
That is exactly what it looked like 2 days ago. For those of you,
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, the entire Bay Area woke up to complete darkness. It was
So
probably
weird.
the craziest thing I've
Whoa,
ever
this looks
seen
cool.
weather-wise happen in the Bay Area. It was nuts. I mean, I woke up at, I want to say maybe 10 or so, and it looked like it was 5
Stop
a.m.
bragging.
It looked like it was 5 a.m. out. I heard my roommate talking, and I was like, whoa, she's up. Why is she up so early? What is she doing? Does she have, like, a flight or something that she's got to catch? Whoever would be up at this hour? And then I looked over my clock, and I'm like, wait, this can't be right. How is it 10 a.m. right now? Anyway,
I've never seen anything
I
like
know.
it.
It
My
was
alarm went
hell.
off, and I was like, "Was there a power outage? Like, what happened?"
It was hell. It was like hell.
It was
It looked
pitch
like hell.
black in the morning. Pitch black.
But it was actually red. Like it was weird because I was up at 6:30 a.m. when it actually was dark outside, and I was thinking like, oh, it's gonna be light by the time I get on the road to go to LA, and I took comfort in that thought. And then 2 hours goes by and it doesn't get lighter, and it's just freaking red. I mean, it it reminded me of the movie Pumpkinhead.
Okay.
It was like, by the way, is my connection still shitty as hell?
Oh,
it's-
I-
you're- to me, you're fine.
oh, really?
Oh, okay, good.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a complainer like Dominic.
Dylan,
mean,
you
I
are
know
coming
I'm
through totally
fine.
But I am
Okay.
seeing a lot of framiness from Laura. But
I'm coming
I
through
think it
totally
is-
Tony.
Yeah, I think it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. How was it for you, Dylan? You said
Um.
where were you on that day? Were
Oh, you
in-
must have been in
Oh, that
Danforth.
day I thought we were talking about the frame rate. I was at my
I'm sorry,
apartment.
You were at your apartment in Berkeley.
I was at my apartment. Yeah, and so something that
Sorry to dox
happened.
you.
Dare
He
you.
lives in Berkeley, everybody.
No! Stop. The I think the last time I was on the show, I hadn't moved yet, so I was in Alameda before, and that was my first ever studio apartment. And then I moved to my apartment in Berkeley, and I was so excited to move there because I moved there at the beginning of March, and it was like also a studio, but it was bigger. So I was like, I've got my own place. You guys come over for housewarming. It's gonna be so great. You guys came over. Laura, you didn't come over because you hate gay people, and everybody was over. And then
Don't out me. Shh.
Her homophobia is
As you
usually
would say.
edited out of the show.
No. 2 weeks later, everything's shut down. So I was like, no, living alone is not cool right now.
Right.
I
It's
don't have
not
to-
really in right now.
Mm-mm.
Well, it's
No.
very in. Everyone is very in right now. I know.
No,
I only got
I'm
to see your.
joking.
Look, it was. I know. Get the hook. I get it. I only got to see your house that one single time, and now it's just been. It's been lost to the ages. We'll never hang out again. Actually, that's it.
I know.
Oh,
Well,
don't say that. Don't even think it.
you'll be over at some point in the future, maybe when I'm 30. Yeah.
When will that be?
Oh, Christopher Flieger says, "Turn up my mic."
How
I'm
dare
gonna
you
turn up a little.
out me? I'm gonna be 30 in 2 years. 2 years and 1 month.
God, you are such a youngster. It was my birthday last month. by the
Really?
way.
Yeah, so I'm going to be 30
Oh my
And-
god.
2 years and 1 month. And I actually suspect maybe I will not get to go outside before then. Ooh, thank you.
So what kind of gun is that, Dylan? Can you describe that gun for us, please?
An automatic
What?
one?
He doesn't need to describe it. We can see it.
Yeah.
It's
It's
huge
No, I know.
and intense.
It's a straight.
AK
It's my dream.
45
It's my dream.
millimeter?
It's my dream for all gay people.
Correct. This is what will eventually heal me. If I keep using it, I won't be gay anymore. You know?
That's what I love about it so much.
Laura, could you
Yeah,
turn up
because
just
you don't like gay people.
Could you turn up
No.
just a tad? We got a little mix note over here.
Oh no!
Just turn up
Wait,
just
turn
an ever
up?
so little tad. Just an ever so little tad.
I-
Sure. How's
I
that?
do have to
Mhm.
wonder if you guys are going to be able to hear me fart on this.
Hear you fart? Oh, do you want to
Fart?
try? Do you want to do like an A/B test, maybe?
I don't know. It's live, so
You could-
anybody could hear.
I mean, you could like fart where you are as is, and then you could build up a second one, and then you could like put
Okay.
butt up to mic, and then we could kind of like A/B test it, figure out what's kind of the best way to kind of go about future streams, so we can make sure that we're hearing all your farts. Or
AB stands for ass butt test.
That's
That
absolutely
was
correct.
terrible.
that's like an
Um,
insider, sort of like a you really got to be in the industry to know that one.
Yeah.
Um,
And now I
okay.
have stage fright, so I don't know. But when it comes back,
That's all right. Let it just happen naturally, and we'll just capture the magic then.
I'll-
Dominic, how have you been? What's been going on with you?
I've been good, just as good as one can be in this crazy year. But something that happened recently that was pretty wild was, do you guys know about what's it called? Not fishing, but well, anyways, basically my parents were getting some packages from Amazon that were addressed to me. But
Yeah.
but from themselves. It was this really bizarre
Right.
thing.
You were telling me about that.
Yeah, I think I told, maybe I didn't tell you, Dylan, but
Mentioned it.
regardless, I'll just retell.
Mm-mm. Okay.
So they started getting these packages. My mom texted me like, "Did you order?" What was the first thing? It was like a USB cord or something. It seemed actually like something maybe I would potentially order. It was like an adapter. I was like, nope, did not order that. I checked my Amazon to make sure that someone didn't hack me or something. She checked her Amazon. It didn't come from her account. Didn't come from my account. It just like appeared. Just appeared at her doorstep, addressed to me. And anyways, we kind of let it slide. And then a couple days later, they sent like a different adapter. It was like a TV adapter. And then like a week later, they sent this huge light, like a video light, like $100+ video light. And we also checked our credit cards, and they weren't charging either my mom or
Oh my
me.
God.
It was really weird. And then, in fact, actually,
You have a sugar daddy.
I either have a sugar daddy or what
Who
is
wants to
maybe
see
more
you take
likely-
hot pictures of yourself in just a t-shirt and
Yes.
socks?
He
Oh,
wants you to
gloves.
take a picture of your asshole with a ring light.
Right.
With a
Which is
gun,
really
the
nice.
size of Dylan's.
A gun. Yes.
Dylan, get in that
This-
picture with him and
with
just
an
use the
asshole
ring-
underneath
Use the ring
it,
light,
just-
please.
Is that a different gun, or is that the same one?
The
I
same
can't
one.
even tell.
It's the same one.
Anyways, so
There are others, but yeah. this
Dylan
one's
just
the
looks
unique
bigger
one.
next to it
This is
because he's
mine,
more
by the
because
way.
he's more of a man now. No wait.
Yeah, I
You
built
say
food
that's just
push-ups.
yours?
No, it's not
That's just-
mine.
Oh, I thought you were like, this is just mine.
No,
I just carry it around.
I
a
I
don't
friend's
don't
house.
own a
Okay.
single firearm.
Aaliyah Klein
Nor
has
do
commented,
I. Nor should
uh,
anyone, I feel.
She says,
What
Chris and I
is
got
that?
a case of individual servings of non-fat milk that we never ordered. We drank some of them, wasn't bad. Yeah, it was like...
Okay.
these
Who said
were
that?
also Aaliyah Klein. My friend Aaliyah Klein, what's up? What's up,
Oh,
Aaliyah? You
sorry.
met her. So she... So anyways, we eventually... I eventually called Amazon and tried to figure it out. And essentially what happens is like people will make a fake account for you and then review their own products so that they could like boost them up in the in the ratings, I suppose, on Amazon, so that you get on the front page and then eventually get more people to buy it and stuff. But it's crazy that they would, like, what didn't compute for me is the fact that they weren't charging us, like that they would invest that much money into just improving their ratings. Like, it just seems crazy to me, but I guess it is ultimately worth it for them to get a higher rating. But I actually got this.
Are you
But is that
using
the
it,
only-
or
I'm using.
Is that the only reason people would do that? Like, maybe there's other reasons that are more sinister.
I mean, Laura could really be using that light right now, I have to say. Not to be
I know.
rude. You're
Oh
just
wait, do
very
I
dark.
look really dark? Really?
Yeah.
Because to me, I look light.
No, no. You look very romantic.
Yeah.
Like-
It's like a
Thank you.
romantic washed out. You have nice.
Yeah.
There's lights on in the background. Nice little Christmas.
This
not
That's
could be
in
a
the
great
reflection.
light.
That's
Great
reflection in
light
the
for
window.
like a wedding reception, not a great light for a podcast. You know?
Why not? Can't we all just be romantic together? Here, let me try and do this. I don't know if that's helping or not. Did that help?
You are brighter in a way, but it's more of like a washed
little.
out brighter. But you know, it's fine. It's fine. It's totally
Or
fine.
Josh.
Josh just laughed, and they heard you, Josh.
Josh.
He says there's a delay, and that he's laughing at jokes that we said a minute ago.
No,
Who knows
that's
what
not
we-
the truth. Josh
says-
needs to acknowledge the fact that I texted him last night and he didn't commiserate with me.
I think he was trying to
I'll be
preserve.
waiting.
He was trying to preserve the conversation for now, for a little bit here. Again, we will be talking. I am thinking of ending things in a short while here. Anybody tuning in, waiting for that? It's coming up shortly. In fact,
I'm thinking of ending things with Josh.
oh my god,
Thinking of ending things with that movie, but sorry.
Oh.
We'll talk about that
We're
later.
gonna get there. Oh my god, you guys are making it so
Me
obvious what you think of this
too.
movie.
Are we though?
No.
Are we?
It might have. It was really good.
Can we check in with our fans? Can we just check in with our audience if there is one tonight and just see who's here and say hi?
Sure.
Let's do a
absolutely.
check-in and see if anybody liked him thinking of ending things.
Well, we're gonna get to
Well,
that.
we will definitely check with that.
Yeah, I want to hear everybody's opinions about that movie in a little bit.
Yeah.
Steph Lagache.
He's not your fan now.
I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry, but they say
Oh.
Laura is a great actress for sure. Call Tarantino.
Oh.
Thank you.
Get him
Wow.
on the
Love
line.
it.
In fact, she has.
You
met
know, I
Tarantino.
actually met
Here
Quentin
we go,
Tarantino
here
like
we go.
twice, and I don't think he.
You met him?
Oh yeah, he saw me play one time in Santa Cruz, and he like talked to me afterwards. and
Really?
then
Did he
he
ask
bought-
to see your feet?
And he bought my CDs. He bought like 2 of my CDs, and he never called me ever since. And then
He probably
Well, I
just
have
wanted
some
to
other
see if he
friends.
could stick his big toe through the CD hole.
probably his big toe or other things.
Actually, probably his like second biggest toe.
Second biggest.
AKA his penis.
Yeah.
Aaliyah Klein
Yeah,
says,
Friday.
I like Dylan's wood wall.
It's not mine.
Nikki Weinbach
Next.
says Dylan's wall makes it seem like he's in the same house as Laura.
It does. That's what I was saying to Dylan. I was like, look at, because here, I'm going to show the audience my
Yeah,
house
yeah.
right now.
Okay, Laura,
Wait.
get over here. Come here.
Look at my,
God,
look
wouldn't
at
that
the
be a
wood
great
walls here.
reveal? No, Laura's
So
house,
crazy.
Laura's, I should say, family's house is. It
Just
really is
kidding.
that
Me and Dylan
wooden
are in the same
vibe.
place. No.
No, it would have been a
Your
great
house
Sorry.
looks like a. Your family home looks like a hilltop dream.
It really
It is on the hill.
Excuse me.
Oh.
It
Normally we
has,
record
it has
these.
issues, but
Normally we record these episodes obviously in the same room, but so there could be a time in the future where we could start streaming these in the same room, but unfortunately for now it's gonna have to remain as is.
Yeah.
it was
Correct.
so funny when I saw when I first saw Dylan on this pod, like right when I signed on. I was like, wait a minute. How is Dylan at my house? Because I really felt like it looked like a
Laura,
wall at
that's
our house.
crazy.
Not just the wood, but like the pictures look like
That's
our
ridiculous. That's so ridiculous.
pictures. I know. I deserve to be shot as a result.
Oh, Dylan,
Okay, I don't-
Dylan, I'm so sorry. It looks like I actually skipped over something pretty crucial here. I'm seeing in the notes that you put
you
in.
did. You did.
There's a note here that says My loved one who shit his pants despite being a Harvard educated, and then nothing. That's it. That's all you put.
Oh, I think I meant to say despite being Harvard educated.
You know what? That was actually on me because I'm not Harvard educated, and so I actually misspoke. You did indeed.
So if you went to Harvard, maybe you would get that correct, but that's fine. So
Anyways,
I do have a loved one. Yes, I do have a loved one who recently called me, and we were on the phone, and he was just like, "How's your day going?" I was like, "It was good." And then I was like, "How's your day?" And he's like, "Well, I shit myself." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And he goes, "Yeah, I shit myself." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, if you could you elaborate?" And he's like, "Yeah, so I was in my living room and I had a stomachache all night long, and then I had I thought that I had to fart, and I farted, so I thought, and I just shit myself."
That is so similar to a story I have about that.
And I was
Keep
like,
going.
I was like, "Well, were you wearing your basketball shorts?" And he was like, "No, I was wearing my jeans." And I was like, "Okay, well, that's good." And he was like, "Yeah." So I got up and I waddled to the bathroom. And he's like, I waddled to the bathroom and I still had to shit so much that I actually clogged the toilet. And I clogged the toilet, and then I had to unclog it. And then when that was finally all said and done, I took the soiled pants that I had and I washed them. And I was like, "Oh, you mean like, how'd you wash them?" And he's like, "Oh, I threw them in the washing machine." And I was like, "Did you clean them out beforehand?" And he was like, "No, I threw them in the washing machine. The washing machine cleans them." And I was like, "You can't throw shit into the washing machine." And he was like, "You can't? It cleans them." And I was like, "You have a degree from Harvard Law School, and you threw shit into your washing machine." And he was
that
like,
really does speak to something.
"Yeah." And he was like, "I thought that was fine. I thought that was what you're supposed to do." And he was like, "Well, should I?"
Academia and common sense don't always cross over.
He was like, "Should I run it again?" And we were like, "Yeah." And like put OxyClean and like anything else that you can get your hands on into the machine.
You're
Put
gonna need to get a
vinegar in
freaking
there.
snake up in there.
Bleach in there.
You need to call a plumber. Call a plumber to get the snake. You know about a snake?
Oh yeah, I definitely know about the snake. Is he just like pulling the
You know
pants
about
out
the
of like
snake?
a bunch of little droplets that are just like floating in this pool of like liquid or what?
I just imagine particulate of E. coli and fecal matter just smeared all over the inside of his washing
It's
machine.
just a pair of pants in a machine, and then water is added in, and it's swishing around poop and water and pans. So the whole thing is just becoming poop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
including just poop.
He almost made
smell?
it worse. So
Oh, he made it worse. He definitely made it worse.
yeah, so we were like,
There's no question about that.
it was me and my mom on the phone, and we both just kind of looked at each other like, so.
Wait, you said this was your family friend who's like your parents' age?
I
or-
won't specify who it was because I want to protect their identity, but this is somebody who's a close loved one who did go to Harvard Law
Okay.
School.
Okay,
Dominic
so that
probably
says
knows.
something.
I
Yeah.
do know, but I will not
Oh my
say.
God.
Steph says though, get rid of your shorts. Come on.
That's what
Not
I was
us,
saying.
not us,
I was
that
like, that's the other thing. I'm like, you went to Harvard Law School. You're a lawyer.
Probably
Throw them away. Buy another pair of pants from the Gap.
Another
They're
one will come along.
$60 for you. That's nothing for you. For me, that's a lot. For you, that's nothing. Buy new pants. If I shit myself, I would be like basically scooping it out with like a plastic spoon and like
What if they were his
basically
lucky-
rinsing
what if
it
they
off
were-
under a faucet and like it's
What
good.
if they were his lucky lawyer pants, where he was like,
He doesn't
every
have
He
time he
only
goes to
wins.
court, he's like,
He's a very unlucky lawyer.
Well, I guess if he shat his pants, that probably says something about his abilities. in
He
court.
He's like, I can
Well, first of all,
only
he
win
shat
with
himself.
these pants. I need.
I-
Oh my god, it's so okay. Can I
He's
just
not a
have, like, do
litigator, so he's
super
not
quick
winning
diversion?
Oh,
anything.
sorry. Okay.
First of
Okay.
all.
When you were
Yeah.
telling your, can I just say one quick thing?
Yes.
When you were telling your story, it actually almost word for word started out just like the story I have about someone who's not a close loved one, but did have to
Tell 'em.
ultimately shit their pants, which was a very brief diversion. A woman named
Yeah.
Bunny, who I gave a ride share to on a Craigslist
Oh,
ride
yeah.
share. I may have talked
Okay.
about this story on previous
say it again,
podcasts,
say
but
it again, yeah.
basically, she's in my car. And I did not expect to be giving her a ride share. I thought I was giving a ride to like a 20-something-year-old. But then when I got to their house, they were like, no, the ride's actually for Bunny, the woman who's couch surfing on my couch, who's been here for like the last 3 days, who I don't know. And she was like,
Okay.
I don't know, in her 50s or 60s. And she gets in my car. We're having a very fluid, nice conversation. And suddenly she just goes silent. And I wondered if I had said something to offend her. And then after 5 minutes of dead silence, she goes, well, I thought I had to fart. Well, I farted, but then and she reaches her hand into the back of her
No.
head. She goes, oh, yeah, that's poo. I don't know. I ate some jalapenos and apples this morning, but I didn't expect for this to happen. It doesn't usually happen. Meaning it has happened in the past, just not usually. And
Do you think she was eating
she
them just
says,
raw,
well, good
just
thing
like-
she said, good thing I'm
Today it
not.
happened.
She said, good
Today
thing
it
I'm.
happened.
She said, good thing I'm not wearing my good pants.
What are Bunny's good
pulled over.
pants? I
They
want to
were
know
all
what
in
Bunny's
the-
good pants are like.
Her good pants were in the suitcase that she brought with her that had everything she owned in that suitcases.
Aaliyah says, "Bleh, just ate." Grow up.
She does.
Grow up.
Grow up.
Grow up.
Speaking of up and onward, let's move on to a little quick segment. Just a
You're
quick-
thinking of ending this conversation.
I'm thinking of ending this conversation and moving us forward. Not to that movie, but ever so soon we will get there. I just want to do a quick little 10-minute new little segment here. Just try it out, you know. Also, just so you know, if you're watching this is our first time we're live streaming, so we're just we're trying out some stuff. Like, feel free to let us know what you like, or if you want us to, do something different. Let us know. But anyways, look,
I'm
so,
eager to please. I'm a Libra. I'll do anything. I'll show you my nipples. I'll show you my asshole. Just tell me. I'll do it. God.
I'm gonna just be a little informative. I'm just gonna inform you guys of something as
You're
well
totally
as
a
the
Libra.
audience. So I guess I'm just gonna call this like a movie news segment, but we should probably come up with some cool name for it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, just like some quick little news stories, like something that's happened in the last couple weeks or so that I find relevant to us and or our audience. I'm just gonna read. I'll just do one of these since we're a little short on time, but I figured that this would be something that we would all be a little interested and invested in. Bjork has been cast in Robert Eggers' upcoming Viking revenge drama, The Northman, as the Slav witch.
Oh my God, I heard about that.
She hasn't started a movie
So
since...
excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited. She hasn't started a movie since 2000's Dancer in the Dark, which is directed by Lars von Trier, if you haven't seen it. It's very good. I love it. She and she had stated in the past that she would never return to acting after the intense experience of acting in that film. She later in 2017 accused Lars von Trier of sexual harassment.
Intense
on the
is
set.
yeah. I
She
was gonna
accused Lars
say
von Trier of.
intense is a gentle word for Lars von Trier. He's a fucking asshole.
What did he do? Oh my God,
in
details.
In 2017, she basically wrote an open letter of sorts, or maybe she posted online. I'm not really sure exactly how it happened, but she accused him of sexual harassment on the set, specifically of like hugging her and being like very touchy with her as he was directing her, basically crossing the line and her making it clear to him that she wanted that to stop. Apparently, he snuck into like her room that she was staying at one point or something, and was like making some sort of proposal, or I don't know. It sounded terrible. Obviously not ideal. It sucks. Look, he sucks. In that regard, he sucks.
Yeah.
I will say I do like some of his movies, including that one, but that is like really terrible. And I could see why that would put you off from, wanting to have that experience ever again. But I, for one, am very excited.
Did
that
you guys see the movie Bruno?
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 Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
What?
No, it reminded me of a scene in Bruno where he basically is camping with these hardcore rednecks, and he like gets naked and he goes up to the guy's tent and he's like, "Oh my gosh, a bear just ate all of my clothes and only left me with these condoms." It's like, and he's completely naked, and the fucking redneck is like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And I have to
just
say,
like
I thought
that.
it's hilarious, but like it's also kind of crazy that he did that. I mean, that is kind of a violation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that a lot of
it's
his
pretty
humor
hardcore.
in that movie, in like trying to, that movie bothered me, and Borat also bothered me, and these are my hot takes.
Bruno?
Sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. What bothered me about those movies is he is a very smart person, clearly.
Yeah.
But a lot of the humor of those movies depended on him basically expecting everybody else to be on his same wavelength. So he was like, the humor of these movies is going to rely on bringing out other people's xenophobia in the case of Borat and other people's homophobia in the case of Bruno. And I'm going to do basically whatever is necessary to bring those things out in both of these movies. But both movies were so well done that basically anybody, including people who hated gay people and including people who hated, including people who are xenophobic, could watch those and be like, oh yeah, the comedy in this is what the character is actually saying, not the people that he's saying those things to.
I totally agree. Like, the audience was almost too wide for what he was making. But I also feel like, what could he do, though, to change it? I feel like it's just an unfortunate side effect of being too big, in a way, It's almost like he was making his stuff as if he was still on the Ali G show, which was a much smaller thing at the time. It wasn't like a global phenomenon like Borat was.
What do you guys think of the Ali G show? Hilarious.
I actually haven't seen a ton of it.
Oh,
but
I thought it was really funny.
Absolutely. Yeah. My brother and I were watching a lot of clips last night, and oh my god, hilarious.
I think that he fell into the same trap though that like Dave Chappelle fell into, where like Dave Chappelle used all of this like cutting edge humor to basically was like humor that reflected back on itself, where it was like, he was clearly a comedian making jokes to the audience, but the purpose of the jokes was to highlight the shortcomings of the audience just so much as it was to actually make the joke itself, if that makes sense. So like all of his like, his like brilliant sketch about like the black white supremacist and stuff like that was all meant to highlight kind of like the far reaches of like white supremacy and how it kind of like indoctrinates people into that way of thinking, even when they think that they're immune to it. And it was clearly supposed to be like making fun of its own audience and like saying like, you're not special. Like, you might think that you're special because you're watching this, but like you're not immune to this way of thinking. But a lot of the people who are watching it didn't get it and just were laughing at the things at face value. I don't know if this is all making sense. Like they're laughing at like the words themselves as opposed to like what they were all supposed to mean. Yeah. Nicole
Kyle says, great points, Dylan, and I do agree.
Thank you.
To wrap this up really quick, though, I do
Sorry,
also...
guys.
What was that? Huh? Oh, sorry. Okay.
Nothing. I brought up a movie, and we just spent like 10 minutes talking about it, which is fine.
Okay.
I mean, but...
I'm going to put a quick little button on it, though, and also say one more news story, even though I wasn't going to say this. But now that it's very relevant, there have been reports that Borat 2 has been completely filmed, and that they're aiming to release it before the election in an effort to reach young voters.
Ooh.
Apparently it's been screened. Apparently it's been screened.
Maybe there's some maybe there's some like This Is America type shit in there.
Yeah, so apparently
in like a month.
So apparently in the story of whatever Borat 2 will be, the character of Borat had to go undercover because he was so big from the first movie. So like apparently it's Borat trying to disguise himself. So it's actually like 2 layers. This is all
oh my
rumors.
god, that's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean this is all rumors.
Wait, did you guys see This Is America?
Oh,
really?
I loved This Is America.
Amazing.
But let's
so
not get too deep into that. I do recommend it. But yeah, so
you have to see it.
Borat 2
really
apparently
good.
has been screened for people in LA. insiders in LA, apparently. But we will see. We will see what happens with that. I think we should. I think we should move on to our main topic, though, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, we
Super,
should.
super, super quick. Wait, how are our viewers doing? Do we have any?
They're all gay.
We do have some viewers right now. People have mostly been quiet, I will say that much. But
Right.
I think they're just listening. You know, they're listening to us. But you
They're
guys,
shy.
if
They're
you-
shy.
They're like, this is boring.
Here's
Okay.
what I'll say though.
Well,
Here's what I'll say
I'm
moving forward though. If you have seen, I'm thinking of ending things. Please let us know. Sorry, let us know what you thought of it in the comments. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little verklempt. And if you haven't seen, I'm thinking of ending things. You're totally fine to keep on watching. We're not going to talk any spoilers until a certain point. We'll make it very clear.
And if you haven't seen I'm thinking of ending things, think of
Ending.
not seeing it.
So we will get to Dylan's opinion first, but I'm just going to. We are already getting some hot takes with the audience as I said that, but I'm just going to put up a little thing here so people know that we're reviewing Thinking of Ending Things. All right, so look, just a quick little thing I'm going to say before we get into the movie. Shit, where did I write this? I wrote some good stuff to know. Okay, so here is what I'm thinking of ending. What I'm thinking of ending things is it's written and directed by Charlie Kauffman, and it's based on the 2016 novel by Ian Reed. I think that's how you say his name. And Charlie Kauffman, he is mostly known as a writer. He wrote Being John Malkovich, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Adaptation, Synecdoche, New York, I think that's how you say it, and Amalisa. Yeah. And this film, I'm Thinking of Ending Things, stars Jessie Buckley as a young woman who is going to meet her boyfriend's parents while simultaneously wondering if she should end this relationship. Her boyfriend is played by Jesse Plemons, and her parents are played by Toni Collette and David Thewlis.
Yeah.
Not positive. I said something.
No.
All right, Dylan, you
Go with
are
it.
bursting at the brim here with opinions. So why don't we start with you? What did you think of I'm Thinking of Ending Things?
Hated it. I hated it. I didn't like it. It was not good. I didn't enjoy it.
Okay.
Basically, I feel similarly about this movie as I did to
Don't you dare say it.
It follows you at
Comes
night.
at
or whatever.
night. It fucking
Comes at night.
At night. I feel similarly in the sense that it was a movie that was well made, and the acting was good. All the pieces were good, and the sum of its parts was a miserable viewing experience. I hated it. I never want to watch it again. Literally, I took 3 pages of notes last night while I was watching it, thinking,
And then ripped him up.
this will all be really fun to refer back to when I'm watching this later, or when I'm going to the podcast later on. I didn't even bring the notes with me today because by the end of it, I was like, this is so fucking stupid. And there's no point in any of this. And I won't get into why yet because we're not doing spoilers yet.
No spoilers, yeah.
But there is no point in even, it's one of those stories where there's no point in even being invested in anything because it all amounts to nothing. So that's all I'll say
Alright.
about that.
That was
Laura.
a spoiler.
Let's get your take on this, Laura. Where are you standing with I'm Thinking of Ending Things?
Well, I'm gonna have to jump on the Dylan train with this one.
Aye.
I hated it. I mean, honestly, I started by hating it. When after having watched like the first half an hour of it about 2 weeks ago, I thought, or whenever it was that it came out, a week and a half ago, whatever. I watched like the first, half an hour, and I was tired, and I did fall asleep, but I also hated it. And then I thought maybe it'll get better. But then when I got Dylan's lovely text yesterday saying he hates this fucking movie.
I texted Laura at like midnight and I
You
said,
guys
Laura,
should
I'm
be
gonna be
texting
honest,
each other
I hate
behind
this
my
film.
back.
I
This is
didn't text him
ridiculous.
back. I didn't text him back.
Okay, all right.
I didn't
fair
text,
enough.
but
You know what,
I
okay,
also
Eddie.
felt
I
a
just wanna take a
certain.
moment.
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead. You must be delayed. I think there's a delay.
It called. Oh, there is. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it totally, it recalled my sentiments with regard to our shared sentiments with regard to It Comes at Night, and well, yeah, I just knew that it was going to be a similar situation. But today, I actually rewatched the whole movie. I mean, I watched it from the beginning to end because I thought maybe it's
watched
better
it
than
again.
No, I didn't. I didn't
she
actually
never
watch the whole
finished
movie
it.
before. I watched
She
like
watched a half hour
I
of it.
hadn't finished it yet. I watched like 30 minutes, so I was like, I'm gonna rewatch the whole thing, and
Honestly,
I'll also write an email in the beginning.
You must have felt fabulously surprised when you realized that the first 30 minutes in the fucking car were the same as the last hour and a half in the car.
Dylan,
No, but
let's
what
not
was
talk any
interesting-
specifics about the plot yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't say any specific,
Sorry.
but like I thought it was. There were a few things in the beginning that I took some notes on that I thought were like that I didn't. I mean, you couldn't have caught watching it the first time, and I noticed like the second time having watched those 30 minutes, I was like, oh, that's kind of an interesting thing. Well, one, obviously the opening credit fonts are horrible and ridiculously small, and it just like made
So
no sense.
dinky. I was like,
Oh, who
I
cares
mean,
about that? I
that
mean, look,
right away. That off the bat was like so pretentious.
oh
you know?
God,
Are you
Dominic
kidding?
loved this movie. Dominic loved it. Just get it over with.
Okay, fine.
Wait.
You know what? I won't get into specifics right now, so let's just jump to you, Dominic, and get your initial reaction.
I really,
Let's hear it.
really liked this movie quite a lot, actually.
Shocking.
Wow.
I
Oh
really
my God.
enjoyed it the
you
first
go for this
time.
sort of thing.
I really enjoyed it the first time, and then guess what? I watched it a second time and enjoyed it even more.
Oh, boy. Ay.
Here's
Yeah, I never want to see this movie.
No.
You
No,
never
I
wanna
could
see-
never watch this movie again.
there's
Ever.
definitely-
No.
There's definitely some delay going on because I feel like you guys are.
Oh,
gonna be a
no,
little late,
really?
but
Well, it's
Thinking
weird
of
because-
ending my relationship with this movie.
I wanna
I've
say-
already
say-
decided to.
I want to say a few things about the movie though. I thought it was beautifully shot. I thought the acting was incredible. I was really excited about seeing Toni Collette again in a similar kind of role, I guess you could say. To
I did think Toni
Hereditary.
Collette played a lovely. She was good.
Well, yeah.
I agree that
she was great.
Toni Collette was good.
Everybody's
At acting.
acting was great. Technically, all the things that were in this movie were great. Like I said, the acting, the cinematography, etc. Great.
I was
The writing
just very-
fine.
I was just very actually engaged. I mean, I was really interested in what was going on. I mean, I was invested. I will say that there was a period of time. I'm thinking to my first viewing, especially that
I'm thinking of anything.
that it starts to stray off from kind of where you might expect it to be going. And
Oh, you mean having a plot? Or oh, sorry.
I don't want to say anything specific about the plot yet, but I guess what I want to say is like the trailer I think is doing this movie a lot more disservice than anything else, because I think the trailer makes it seem, again, in a similar sort of way to what's it called? It Comes at Night.
It does make it seem like a movie. In which sense?
Funny that it
Oh,
reminds
come
you
on.
of that.
It makes
no.
it seem like it has a story, which definitely is doing it a disservice. I agree with
Okay, this absolutely does have a story, in my opinion, and I think I would love to get into it. There's a lot of stuff I want to say in a spoiler way, but without spoiling anything story-wise. I do think that there's a reason for some confusion,
For life.
and I think that that's intended, and I think the themes that it's talking about and the themes that it's playing with kind of go into why you as a viewer might be confused as well, because I think that is kind of part of it. They're putting you in the position of certain events and certain characters, again, trying to kind of dance around some stuff right now, to make you, I think, feel a
it's
similar
no-
way. And I actually
It's
really
I
no
would love to get deeper into this because the confusion isn't my problem. I
Guys,
get
there's
what's
it's no
happening.
secret that it's trying to be confusing. It's like deliberately and overtly, fucking with the timeline
Yeah,
and like
it's
you know,
pointedly trying to
whose-
be hard to
whose perspective it
access.
is and like all of that, and like the storyline and the information that it's telling you is like constantly contradicting itself. So that's
Yeah.
no secret.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
totally.
that's not the part that's bothering me. The part that's bothering me is just that it's stupid.
Okay, well, I don't think it's stupid.
I have to agree. I mean, maybe I'm stupid because maybe I don't know. Like maybe it's making crazy references that I just don't get.
No, I didn't get all the references either. I
don't know if I want to get.
I don't think it has anything to do with like you must understand all the references in order to understand the movie or whatever. I think the references.
It reminded me of like an. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I feel like the references went over my. So we keep cutting each other off because I think there's a delay, but the references.
Sorry.
Oh my! I can't tell if you're doing this on purpose or not.
I'm not doing it on purpose.
Okay.
Sorry.
I think she just doesn't want me to say anything.
No, I do. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go on, Dominic.
I honestly can't remember what I was gonna say.
Go on, Nike.
Let's.
Oh no.
Let's.
Sorry.
I don't know. Should we already get into spoilers or what?
Wait, let me just say some more about how I felt about it. I felt that it was
I have
like...
been silent for too long. I'm ready.
All right, you guys, because of the delay, I think we should kind of like give the floor to somebody. So let's like give the floor to Laura for a second.
Oh wow! Hey, thank you. Okay, okay, I'm gonna just talk. It reminded me of like my 19-year-old self, all depressed and like, bummed about life, but clearly still like a post-adolescent, except that these people are like adults and need to be past that phase. And so it just made me feel like it was really lame and like, and just so indulgent and like not, it was just it felt very, adolescent mentality and like the things that it was depressed about and this whole like existential kind of depressive feeling that it was trying to dive into was very, I don't know, to me ultimately like fairly superficial compared to like what more life has to offer. And also it was funny because in the movie, without trying to give away any spoilers, it actually does kind of go in that direction. And I was like, oh my God, I guess maybe it was doing that on purpose, but then I don't like that. So that's, I mean, I ultimately like, I just didn't, even if it was like brilliant on some levels by some people's interpretations or standards or whatever, it was ultimately just like not a pleasant experience and boring and kind of not something I would ever want to do again. And I realized the more and more movies I watch,
sorry, go ahead.
I really just want to watch movies that I enjoy. You know what I mean? Like movies are entertainment and also can be really informational and like, pointful, but why go back to a world that is just purely like basically the whole time I'm like looking at the clock going, how much longer do I have?
Man, I mean, I did
Good job,
you
though.
to not like it overall, Laura, but I am a little shocked that you weren't. What did you think about just the set decoration, especially in the house?
I thought it was pretty cool, but ultimately it was like a very cold version of, an aesthetic that I gravitate towards, which is like, rustic farmhouse, but then it was the cold bone dry version of that. I mean, I like the wallpapers and stuff, and like the opening sequence was cool with all those, beautiful wallpapers, but I mean, the costumes were pretty drab and like unattractive, and except for Toni Collette's character, I mean, sometimes, but.
What about the dinner scene? What did you think about the dinner scene?
Pretty cool.
Actually, wait. I guess.
You mean art direction wise, or just like the content?
Actually, I think we should save that for a spoiler talk. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up yet.
But I was just asking if you were asking about the art direction or.
No, but here I'll ask something generally too. What about the humor? Did you guys find any humor in it? A little bit. I thought Toni Collette was funny, and also the husband. I don't know his name.
There was some humor. I mean, like the fact that
did it not really
they were
land
all
for you guys?
trying. No, it did.
Oh, it did.
Did
okay.
it what? Did it what?
It did.
Did the humor land for you? I mean, for me, I really found it hilarious at times. I thought the dark humor was just so on point.
Hilarious.
And it was like
I wouldn't go that far.
No, calm down.
Oh, come on.
I got like a little bit of like a.
Dylan's way funnier.
Yeah.
Than this movie?
Wait, let's give Dylan a chance to talk now because I feel like he was been really just busting up at the seams trying to talk over here.
Yes, Dylan,
You're right.
He's about to like squirt his pants before he like.
Well, funny you should say that. Steph La Gachette says Dylan did in his pants while watching it. I don't get it. But anyway.
Yeah, there's some great
I don't
comments here
get
that I will
it.
read in a second, but I want Dylan to talk, and then we'll bring in the audience.
Okay, Steph, if you could explain, I would love that. Because maybe I did. I don't know. Yeah, there was some humor. Like some of it definitely landed. I just felt like it's tough because we can't get to the spoiler part yet.
Okay.
It's tough because I think that the worst kind of movie is one where basically like nothing has ever really happened by the end. And this was that 100%. And that was incredibly frustrating. And I felt like everything that happened, humor, any sort of emotion, whatever occurred throughout the 2-hour and 15-minute runtime was meaningless. So it was just an incredibly frustrating viewing experience. It wasn't fun. It was arduous. There were multiple sequences that were so like we had some funny parts that had Toni Collette and like the dad in them. But I will also say that the part with Toni Collette and the dad, which was advertised as being the majority of the movie,
It's a
amounted to, if you cut out the scenes that take place in the car in this movie would be 30 minutes.
Okay. Well, we are dancing around some stuff, and I feel like we're kind of getting to the point where we should talk about spoilers anyway, so we can move forward. I'm gonna just read a couple of things though that people have said while we've been talking here.
Yeah, I'm looking at that too now.
So, So Nicole Kyle, she writes, it's made to make you feel uncomfortable, just like the main character feels, kind of like a horror film in that way. I actually agree. I feel like this film is very much from the perspective of I think there's some arguments to be made of whose perspective it's from that we'll get to in spoilers, but I really feel like this is meant to put you in the place of some of the characters, and I do hear you, Dylan. I totally agree about like the plot is slow, and there isn't a lot of like major beats, you could say, right? But I feel like what kept the plot moving to me was just the actual content of what they're talking about, and I do think that actually it's funny because when I watched it the first time, I felt like it was really slow too, even though I didn't mind that. The second time I watched it, I actually felt like the pace was totally fine. Like it was, I think because my expectations were a little more in check, like I knew ultimately where this is going.
I can't believe that you had the patience to watch this twice.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
The Herculean effort of watching it once was enough for me. Like last night, literally while I was taking notes on it, I was trying to take thorough notes throughout the whole movie, and by the end of it, I was literally just writing, I hate this movie.
Okay.
I hated it.
All right,
it's funny.
Let's move to spoilers.
Wait. There was a couple other comments though. Can we just respond? Nikki was saying that the guy's name who plays the dad is David Thewlis, and he's in Total Eclipse. Okay, I have seen the movie Total Eclipse with Leonardo DiCaprio, and that's actually a pretty good movie. And now I remember him. Yes, totally in that movie. That's funny. Totally. You're right.
Nikki,
thanks for the reference.
Nikki also just commented, I enjoyed the dialogue in the car too, as did I. I mean, it is long, but I honestly found a lot of it pretty engaging, and there was some pretty intense moments, I thought, which we will get to in a second. In fact, let's get to it right now. If you haven't seen I'm Thinking of Ending Things, we are going to talk spoilers, so I would encourage you to not watch any further unless you've seen the movie. Also, if you're commenting, now feel free to write spoilers too. So again, if you have not seen this movie, don't look at the comments, please. I personally hate ruining movies for people, so it's something I feel strongly about. But we are going to talk spoilers. So let's start with Laura this time.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
What is there something that you have been holding back talking about? I can also guide us a little bit, but
Okay. So I guess like watching it the second time, the first 30 minutes the second time, I realized that whole like poem that she recites was like a premonition of what was going to happen in the house when going to the house. It was like a whole description of their whole experience going to dude's house. Also realized, well, one thing I thought that was just an observation was that she seemed to be wearing a lot of makeup, like an ungodly amount of makeup for some odd reason.
And so many layers.
It was just like, why would her character doesn't seem like
the
she
gloves
would wear
are
that
off.
much makeup.
Spoilers, everybody.
And I wondered if like
sweaters
was
under
that-
dresses and sweaters over dresses and vests
I mean,
over
the fashion was
sweaters.
just not a good look.
Oh my
But
God,
I
it's
do
so
think
ugly.
like I wondered if it was like a conscious decision on the director's part to have her wearing that much makeup, or if it was like just a bad makeup artist, which has happened, and it happens, and it's like really frustrating. But yeah, they need to just lay the fuck off that stuff. So anyway, that was one thing. But so
let's talk
there was
about
just
the
a
dinner
lot.
scene.
So the things that I noticed was like when she was saying in the beginning when they first like observed that the basement and how he doesn't want her to go into the basement. There's a basement in the house when they go to visit his farmhouse, and it's got tape on the door. And she goes, "What's in there?" And he's like, "Oh, it's just an ugly room, a hole in the ground." She's like, and she said earlier, like 5 minutes before that scene, she goes, "Oh, I love this house. It reminds me of the house I grew up in." And then very nonchalantly like says, after he's like, I have a basement, you know how that is. And she's like, well, I don't know. I mean, I grew up in an apartment. We never had a basement. So it's like right away there was that weird inconsistency in her story, Mm-hmm. And that was just something that I know, like not having seen the whole thing was like, oh, that's weird that she just like said, one thing and then a totally opposite thing. And then, it's obviously playing with the timeline right away with like do you want to stop for coffee in the beginning, talking about like that's going on in her mind before we see them even in the car. You hear this conversation happening, and then once they're in the car, you hear the exact conversation happening. So it's kind of like a weird jumping around type of thing, obviously. What were you going to ask me about the dinner scene?
Yeah, I mean, I want to just discuss the dinner scene because I felt like it was probably my favorite scene of the movie. I just loved the vibe of all four of those characters around the table, and I feel like it also had a lot of themes going on in it that I felt like played itself out in various ways throughout the film. I especially really liked their conversation about her art, and she kind of brings to the table these paintings. The main character, right. It's revealed she's a painter, and so she shows these parents, the parents of her boyfriend, these paintings, and the dad says something that I feel like really starts to clue you in, I think, as to the intentions of this movie, and the fact that I think the writing is self-aware in a way. But he, I think, voices what you might be thinking as the audience, which is like, I'm sorry, I'm actually jumping the gun a little bit on that, but he kind of starts to make
it's just a painting without people in it, and then therefore it's boring or whatever. We need to have people in it for it to be like interesting.
Right, like he is kind of taking things at like this surface level, you could say. He's like, I don't understand how something could be sad unless I'm seeing a sad person here. And then later on, he then voices when the timeline starts to get especially weird, when you see him old, all of a sudden Toni Collette is very old, and then like they're kind of swapping. The timeline seems to just be jumping all over the place. He says something that I felt like was pretty self-aware in a way of the audience, or even perhaps channeling the audience. He goes, I actually wrote it down. He says, I'm feeling confused to the main character, and he kind of is like looking around, like he's talking about potentially dementia, but I feel like that kind of clues you in as to, I think all of the characters in this movie are potentially parts of either one person or two people that are either dealing with dementia or schizophrenia, or like I feel like this is all from the perspective of, well, is
a demented person.
Yeah, either the boyfriend.
Yeah.
What was that? Either the boyfriend.
Said from a demented person. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, there's so much delay. No, I think either the boyfriend or the young woman as well. I just think it has a lot to say about like mental illness and just the confusion that one could feel. And she's constantly confused. She doesn't know if something truly did happen or not. Like she thinks that she was spiked or something, or that she drank too much. There's just like all these reasons thrown out as to why she, you know, is feeling as confused as we are. And I don't know, I felt like it did a lot to kind of clue you in to, I don't know, potentially her mental illness or his mental illness, or one of them just not, you know, having it all together.
Well,
So it's about a dementia person. That makes sense.
Did
Hey,
you read what the
wraps
plot
it
of the
up.
book was?
No, I
Heck
actually
no.
did avoid looking too much into that. But if you know, I would be interested to know, or if anyone in the audience has read the book. But go ahead.
Yeah,
I
so
imagine this-
the book, I dropped a piece of black licorice. I'm gonna leave it in here. The book. Spoiler alert. So the whole thing in the book,
Sucks.
the book sucks too. And the
Have
book
you
they
read the
make it a
book?
lot.
Spoiler.
I haven't read the book. I know after I
You
watched
just know
the
it sucks.
I saved it
It
because
just seems like it
I
was.
wanted to watch the movie. The book is like 200 pages, so I was like, oh, I'll save it. I'll watch the movie and then I'll read the book. But after I watched the movie, I was like, I'm not reading this
like
book.
hell.
And
I mean,
Same
Dylan,
here.
I actually
When
I
it
have
said it
heard
was
that the
based on a
is
book, I
far
was
more
like, no
straightforward.
thanks.
well, here's the thing. In the book, they make it much more clear what's actually happening. And in the book, they make it clear that by the end of the story, the janitor that you see throughout the whole thing, who's kind of like this omniscient figure,
Mhm.
like sort of just like floating in the background randomly at the high school while all of this is happening at the farmhouse with the girlfriend and the boyfriend and whatever. They make it much more clear that he is actually Jake.
That's what I
And-
thought when I watched the movie.
Yeah.
That was yeah.
So he's actually Jake. And everything that has happened at the farmhouse is a figment of his imagination. It's all, none of it happened. She doesn't exist. Their relationship never happened. It's all basically him. He lived his entire life as like a virgin incel. And essentially imagined this relationship with this woman that he never had the guts to ask out. And the whole thing is basically just him being like, well, yeah, if I had actually gone out with her, this is how it might have looked, and this is how my life might have looked. And then there's like that ridiculous sequence of in the movie them having like the ballet or whatever, and it's like the real him killing the fake him so that he can realize that, like, you know, there's a difference between the two of them.
The real him killing the fake him. See, I thought
I-
that the dancers were like the idealized versions of the two main characters. Like,
Yeah,
Or just
she
another
never
reality,
I don't
existed.
know.
another. It could be just.
Well,
another
she was
way of-
him too. She never existed. So
right. But then,
whole-
what do you mean by the? How is it that those? How is that scene illustrated as him killing? What did you say?
it's the real him killing the fake him, because it's like the janitor version of him killing the other version of him that's like dancing with the woman.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. You're right. But like, why? What do you think was the significance then of like the better looking versions of the two main characters coming out from behind them? Or what was? I mean, I don't necessarily think they were. It looked like they were supposed to be better looking. You
It
know,
was
more
literally
idealized
just-
versions.
It was
Yeah.
literally just them introducing two stand-ins for those characters.
Well, okay, but so I actually want to read something that Nikki said that I actually fully agree with. I think Nikki says, I think the movie and the book should be considered separate entities. And I totally agree with that. I think like this shouldn't have to rely on what the book says happened, because I think that you can interpret, maybe this is just his interpretation of the book, and perhaps it's adapted and changed, and like, I do hear you that like, I think that's totally plausible, but I also, I didn't necessarily fully know if it was Jake or not, and I think that this definitely leaves more room to not think that, you know, like I think it really could go either way. But I
Jake
also
be?
think what was that?
Who would Jake be?
Who would Jake be?
Yeah,
I just
like,
I
it's not
thought
the
that
janitor.
I just didn't think that I thought that either the janitor was just imagining these two entirely different characters, or I also thought I was starting to think actually in my second viewing. Again, I haven't read the book, so I didn't really know this janitor being linked with Jake, which is also interesting and very, very much like a plausible thing. But I was starting to think that she perhaps had schizophrenia or like multiple personality disorder or something like that, or some sort of psychosis that Jake sort of represented that, because they have these conversations in the car where it feels like she's arguing with
They're
herself.
like inner.
And
Well,
it feels-
because she didn't exist.
Well, he hears her. He can hear
So-
her thoughts.
She didn't exist. He was making her up the whole time, which is why
In the
her,
book.
in the book, yeah. I mean,
in both, because that's why their meeting story changed every single time they talked about it. That's why
Right.
her major changed every single time they talked about it. That's why her upbringing
then-
changed, because
but
he
then maybe
himself
that
was
was-
changing every single time he changed his idea of what like the idealized version of her would be like. So he changed
Unless
her
it
based
was
on the
about
movie
somebody
that
with
he was
dementia.
watching.
right. I mean, that's what I thought. I thought that maybe it is interesting. Like maybe that guy had dementia, and then yeah, he's like misremembering all these things of his life. But I also kind of thought that maybe it was the young woman, just maybe not necessarily dementia, but she's like dealing with some sort of mental illness, and like she's kind of in the passenger seat of this mental illness that is like driving her around and taking her to all these different things. And to me, like this relationship that she was thinking about ending, maybe that's just her wishing that she could end her relationship with her own mental illness and kind of be able to move on from it in some way, but she just can't, because every time she says I'm thinking of ending things, or is about to say that, he pulls into a whole new set of worms, like whether it's the school or whether it's that Slurpee place or whatever. He is the one driving her, literally driving her to all these different places, and it felt to me like she was just stuck.
Well, that was the frustrating thing about the movie, is that, like, I mean, you don't have to agree, but it felt like it was pretty clear by the end that, like, she never existed. Everything in the movie just took place inside of his head. And, like, when she went inside of the high school and was, like, talking to the janitor and was like, oh, yeah, I never actually made a move on him, and I never gave him this number, and, like, I don't actually know him, blah, blah, blah. It was, like, that was when it all started to click of, like, oh, this isn't real. None of this is real.
What do you think?
She's
then
just
what do
the
you think about?
she's just the imagined version of herself that he idealized in his head before he'd ever asked her out. And every single thing that happened in the movie was just like, what would have happened if I'd actually gone out with this woman, and it was all imagined.
So but is that
What do
boring
you think
to
about
like, that's
Extremely, because nothing happened.
But
Right.
so
I
much
mean, I hear what you're
happens.
saying, Dylan. Wait, hold on.
Nothing
What about those?
happened.
But then, how do you explain the moment where they go to the Slurpee place and there's like those two pretty girls, and then the girl with like her arms all rashed up and whatnot, and the girl who's like, I'm really worried.
I think it
about
was
you."
just a stupid red herring. To be honest.
I agree. I know.
okay.
I hear that. I totally hear that.
All right, a couple
It was
more-
just
no,
really
there's
them
probably,
trying to
like-
be like, let's confuse them. Let's throw in a red herring.
Right.
Let's do
Right.
something that I'll find symbolism in, but that they
Right.
won't find anything in. But then if they don't
Right.
find anything in it, that's on them, because they're
Fuck
stupid
them.
and obtuse.
Exactly.
But I know the meaning in it.
See, but I
I'm
didn't
the
feel-
You know what,
genius.
Dylan?
didn't
I hear
feel
you. I
stupid.
agree. I totally
it felt
feel that.
so
totally,
pretentious
exactly.
and stupid to me. I was like,
Right.
oh my god, like this is
Nikki-
clearly like a film student like thesis. Somebody has an idea of like, oh, I'm such a genius, I know exactly what this symbolizes
Right.
to me, and I don't give a fuck if it means anything to anybody else. And I'm
You don't
going
think
to
that
do
there
it.
is worth though in having an interpretation and your own, like as the artist or whatever, having your own interpretation, putting something out that is a little more vague and maybe open for people to put their own thoughts into, and then get something out of it that feels very personal to them specifically?
No, I think that's a vanity project. I think if you want to do something that only means something to you,
No, but
you shouldn't release it as a film on Netflix.
Okay. Well, Nikki
I
is
hear you.
reading.
I agree.
Nikki is reading my thoughts over here. He says,
But hey, there's
There's
obviously
not
people
one-
that like it.
Nikki says there's not one right answer. It's kind of like a David Lynch film, up for interpretation. I also want to read. Wait, there was a couple of things. I wanted to say, Anton, I do see your. Sorry, I thought that Laura was commenting as Foxtails Brigade on YouTube, so I wasn't reading them. But
no.
Earlier Anton had said Dominic is a masochist, which could be.
For watching this twice, I agree.
Right.
Josh, who is sitting right next to me, he said he thought he was Jake too. That he thought the janitor was Jake as well. There's our theme song, everybody. Let's see. There's a couple other.
What?
Nicole says. Nicole Kyle says, I got suspicious when she went from being a poet to a painter, and also from a physicist to a doctor. Too many skills for one person. I mean, I think like that is one of the first hints.
Excuse me, I have a lot of skills for one person.
And
so
she also went to being a
from
film expert.
Oh, I love that scene. Actually, I really liked her little film critic diatribe because I feel like that was.
That made me so angry.
But come on, it's so tongue in cheek though. Like clearly, it's. I really don't. I think there's more humor to this than maybe you got from it. I mean, I thought.
No, I mean it might have. It would have been funny if it had only lasted for 30 seconds, but it lasted for the scene in the car for the second time around lasted for 30 minutes. 30 minutes.
Oh, I know. The cars.
None of us needed that. Nobody wanted that.
Dominic wanted it. So
I
did
really,
my brother Nikki apparently.
Yeah, I really
30 minutes. It was like a 1-act play. And it was
just felt incredibly.
Exactly.
It just felt so indulgent. It felt so indulgent.
It was really indulgent. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. It was like
just so like.
So it was like, you clearly think that you're really
brilliant.
Smart because this is all inside of your head, so it makes sense to you. But
I think our fire alarm is going off. I don't know if you can hear that.
Whoa! What is that?
I think
that me?
Is it me?
It's here.
Oh yeah, it is. It is me. Maybe I'll just go check and make sure that our building is on fire or something.
Oh shit! That is an actual fire alarm.
Josh,
I thought it was like a microphone.
Josh, come tell me if you liked the movie.
He's over here monitoring the stream on my bed currently, or he was at least.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. Our shit's always going off.
Yeah. So there's really not much more to say than that. It was very full of itself. It was full of itself.
Kind of.
I don't know. I felt. You know what I was thinking? It was like, while making this movie, was he thinking this is going to be a movie people will want to watch for generations to come? Or is it like, I'm just going to make this piece, people will probably only watch it once?
I think he thought of himself. He was like, is this a movie that I'm going to want to watch?
Yeah, I mean, why
I would never want to.
Why wouldn't you think of yourself when you're creating a piece of art?
Because you're making a movie for not just yourself. You're releasing a movie to the public.
I know, but he's not just making it for himself.
No, of course
there's so much in here for you to like. I found a lot of enjoyment from it, and I felt a lot of meaning, even though I understand what you're saying. Like, there's not one very clear meaning to it all, and I think maybe that's what's frustrating you, because you do want one clear meaning. To me, I really enjoyed thinking about this in kind of like multiple ways, and thinking about it in like, is it who good?
That is
no,
the thing.
Dominic, no.
That is
no.
That's
the answer is no.
I disagree, because I don't. The problem to me isn't like that. I don't like that there are multiple meanings to it. The problem to me is that the meaning of it is very clear. I mean, you don't have to agree, but the meaning is clearly this guy imagined a life that never happened, and that's the whole movie.
I think that you're thinking
that is the plot. No, that's the plot. He's the janitor, and he's imagining a life that never happened. That is exactly what the book was about. That is what the movie was about. It's just so like melodramatic.
It's like funny that he's like a janitor too. It's like that's just such a sort of
he's
cheesy
just
thing,
imagining
you know? It's like,
something that
just
never.
The lonely janitor, you know.
You're saying that.
Yeah, and he's just imagining something that never happened. It's not really. I mean, you can project your own idea of what it was about onto it if you want to, but that I believe that he also, the director, Charlie Kauffman, literally said that is what this movie is about. It is about.
I know, but
this
that's
guy
not in the movie.
Who
that's
basically.
Well,
but that's what it was about. So what does it matter?
Well,
it
I
does,
think it's
no,
totally
that's
open
actually
for-
now that is the subject for debate right there.
No, I
mean,
disagree.
That's literary. That's
Because if
literary
that's what he
101.
made it about, then that's your fault if you don't agree with it.
Oh, but then tell that to
I do not.
Salman Rushdie, who got exiled from his country for writing the satanic verses that were misinterpreted because his opinion didn't matter or his intention didn't matter. But it's neither here nor there.
Well, we do have to wrap
Point
up.
being, I agree. Okay, let's wrap it up.
Let's
The movie
wrap it
sucked.
up.
Don't see
Our
it.
friendship is over. We hate this movie.
No, of course
Yeah.
I love you dearly, Dylan. Of course we obviously disagree on this movie. I honestly kind of expected it.
Now me and Dylan are best friends.
Laura and Dylan have now they've upgraded their friendship, whereas I have downgraded.
We've
in both of
reignited
their
our
lives.
friendship based on our mutual
The
belief.
angelic verses.
Okay, well, look, I mean, I expected that this movie would be divisive, and I feel like it's a tough. It's tough to just fully say if I would recommend it to people because I really feel like this is gonna be you're either gonna love it or hate it. I think you've probably heard us talk enough. Hopefully, you didn't watch this if you didn't watch the movie, but I think you could probably get an idea of what this is a kind of like. David Lynch, I would say, is certainly similar. But anyways, I think okay. Let's wrap it up here. I'm gonna just read a couple more things I saw come through. Anton says, "Oh, cool! It was all a fantasy. I like the idea. Glad I got the spoilers, so I don't have to endure torture."
Yeah, good point.
Nikki says, "People think that they clearly understand Mulholland Drive, but David Lynch has never confirmed the right way of interpreting it. Or it's also like watching the movie Mother."
Well, guess what? Charlie Kauffman did confirm the meaning of this film. So you can
He
all
did
shut the
confirm,
fuck
exactly.
up.
Yeah,
And it
but-
was a stupid meaning.
Oh boy! I mean, this just opens up a whole nother can of worms. I'm gonna try to not get
It's
into.
okay.
Right now.
I love. You know what? It was a nice movie. I'm sure Charlie Kaufman's really nice.
Yeah. Dun 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 dun. J'ai faim.
I'm sure
J'ai
they're all
faim
really
de
nice.
toi. Tu sais what je dois.
That's our outro music. Yes, exactly. Well, look, Dylan, this has been so fun. It was great to have you on. Our first live stream episode.
Wow.
You know, we did it. Here we are. We're in a sort of 2.0, you could say, of Totally Tell Me. We would love to have you back on, of course. I'm sure we will shortly. I do want to say, next episode, we're going to have Nick Stargu / DJ Real. If you've listened to our show as a podcast, I'm sure you're very familiar with him. But he'll be on episode 2. We're still figuring out which movie we're going to do, but we'll announce it soon. So you can hopefully watch whatever movie that is before we do the episode. So we'd love to have everybody back. Please let people know about it if you enjoyed the show. We are on Twitch at twitch.tv/totallytellme. We're
Oh, by the way, Nikki said she was acting like Pauline Kael. Whatever. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
We're also on Facebook, at facebook.com/totallytellme, and we're on YouTube, but it's not like quite a easy link, so just look up Totally Tell Me, you'll find us. We stream every other Sunday at 7 p.m. I gotta figure out the outro for this, so bear with me here. And yeah, I think that's about it, actually. So thanks again to Dylan for being here. Always a pleasure. Laura as well,
Thank you.
obviously. Thank you for
Thank
co-hosting
you.
with me.
Thank you for being here, both of you.
And
us all
we will be
making this
back.
happen.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Laura. What are your closing comments here?
Thanks to everyone who tuned in, who endured the suffering and pain of. It's hard to end things or whatever the fuck it's called. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Totally Tell Me.
She said it. Look, that's it. And we're going to our thanks for watching card. Here we go. Bye.